I guess some might also respond, it's like, well, rather than cutting the income tax, why don't you leave the rates where they are and be able to use that money to, for schools and for other services. The idea being that you may cut the income tax, I may have a couple dollars more in my pocket, but when a school says I got to put a levy on the ballot, or mental health says I have to put a levy on the ballot because I'm not getting from the state, how do you respond to that?
Well, first of all, we had the largest increase in K through 12 funding in a decade, $1.6 billion. Secondly, the number of school levies is lower than when we came in. I mean, it's not a lot lower, but it is lower. The last time I looked at those numbers, we had this innovation fund where we tried to get schools to figure out how to improve their operations and reduce their costs. And we've seen a number of school districts come together and figure out ways to save money and improve quality. I mean, 4 school districts got together, they only have 1 superintendent. So we want all layers of government really to be efficient and effective and innovative. But in addition to that, the reason why we're doing better in the state and we can fund K through 12, and the reason why we have the resources to do a number of things is because we're growing jobs. Ohio's not going to be successful by growing the government. Ohio's going to be successful by having economic growth and then being able to fund our priorities. Now, let's just talk about the income tax. We know that about $12 billion in wealth has walked out of the state to states that have either lower or no income tax. And they're the fastest growing states, by the way, in the country. So if you go down to Naples, Florida this winter, I'll go down with you. All we'll find are people from Ohio. I swear it's like a province of Ohio. It just happens to be located in Florida. We don't want those folks leaving here. Now, we've helped that situation by killing the death tax, but we still have a very high income tax. Now, we're not just talking about cutting government to get this done. I mean, making government more efficient and being able to return that money to taxpayers is ideal. But we're also talking about tax reform. We have to think about what is the tax system that will produce the revenue we need, but also generates the greatest amount of economic growth. And to me, one of the great outrages we have in the state right now is that these big out-of-state oil companies are taking our resources and not paying for it. And that's an example of tax reform. We had it the last time. We wanted to raise the taxes on cigarettes and use it to reduce taxes. Now, when we cut the income tax, as we've been doing, this is an exciting thing that I don't know if you're seeing anywhere else in the country. We're bringing the top rate down, but we've created the Earned Income Tax Credit, which the community development organizations wanted for 30 years, and now we've got it. We've improved the personal exemption. So I think it's important for people on the bottom to be given incentives and people on the top. Furthermore, the income tax, a lot of businesses, small businesses, they report their earnings through their personal income tax. And so when people say, well, it's $2 or it's $4 or whatever, look, I mean, the fundamental principle is, do you have a tax system that generates economic growth? And secondly, where's it better? Where's it better to have the money located? In the pockets of people who live in the state or in the government. And this whole thing about, well, it's $2 here or $4 here, well, I think it also sends a very important signal about what we're doing. And I have to talk to CEOs, and when they hear the fact that we're cutting taxes and we're balancing our budget and we're running a surplus and we're spending the largest amount in 10 years on K through 12, and we're helping families that have autism, and we're out there trying to do some things to help people who are drug addicted, and we're trying to provide more resources to the local community so that people aren't all sent into prison and they can be confined locally. It's pretty remarkable. But without economic growth, these things kind of fade away. But I got your point.
Are you feel like you're any closer on the severance tax with the legislature?
Well, John Paul Jones, I think, once said, I have not yet begun to fight. And, frankly, if we don't make the progress we want, I think you should expect a ballot initiative. And that initiative will be a lot higher than what I'm proposing. Now, maybe these out-of-state companies will fund it, defeat it, or whatever, but I'm not giving up on this. Now what they're doing is they're able to move these condensates through the pipeline and treat them as gas. I mean, it's unbelievable what is happening. And what we're asking for is still the lowest severance tax in the country. The other thing I'm concerned about as it relates to that business is, are they hiring Ohioans? I don't want to bring in a bunch of people in from other states. I want Ohioans to be working in this industry. And we're assessing. The first time I heard about it, the operating engineers were upset. They seemed to feel better about it. I saw the laborers the other day, and they're like, hey, I'm telling you, things aren't that great out there. So we're doing our own assessment to figure out, what's the percentage of Ohioans who are working in this industry. So think about it. We got out-of-state companies that come in here. They don't have Ohio workers. They take our resources and they don't pay for it. Now, what's that about? So we're going to be on every bit of this thing.
Something we found in southeastern Ohio is that I don't know that they disagree with the severance tax. In fact, I think they agree with your assessment on that. But what we're running into is education and drugs. When you want to hire Ohio workers, we were told one company wanted to put it out that they wanted to hire, and 60 to 70% of the people who showed up either just automatically
Let them tell us who they want. Let them give us the number. Give us a chance to find the workers, okay?
And that's what we're finding.
Well, that's what they say they're finding, okay? Let us have a crack at getting people to work at those places,
Well, can you address the education part of that?
Well, first of all, the drug problem, you're seeing things